Kicking it through the uprights, hold tight. Amazing stories, feeling stories, out of sight. Jaw-dropping tales, just a real thrills. They're always unreal. Kicking through the uprights, the legend seals the deal.
Hello and welcome to the fourth episode of Kicking It Through the Uprights, Tom's Tall Tales and True Stories. And I have another true story to share with you. And it's really a continuation from the third podcast, which were stories that took place in the Boundary Waters of Minnesota. I kind of ran out of time, so I saved this one. It's a shorter story. I saved it for this fourth podcast. And this particular story happened a little later in my life. The earlier ones were when I was a young teenager, around 14. Now we got to fast forward to, oh gosh, I'm probably close to my late 20s at this time, and have been teaching. And I was teaching at a small school in Minnesota called Lakeville Middle School. And I was teaching geography. And I was also doing a club for kids who wanted to learn orientation, which was a sport that came out of Sweden, which you do in woods and things. It's kind of like a race, but you use maps to find places around the woods. As a result of that, the school district decided to have us take a group of kids to the Boundary Waters on a canoe trip. Of course, I quickly volunteered. I've been there before. And another teacher from our school, the young lady named, I believe her name was Linda, and she was a science teacher. So it worked out real well. So she would be the camp counselor for the girls, and I was the camp counselor for the boys. We took about a dozen kids out of southern Minnesota and into northern Minnesota and Canada, into the Boundary Waters. It started out like a real fun trip. We took a bus up to Ely, Minnesota, and then got in the canoes and headed off. And we were canoeing for a couple days, following our plans, and it was things were going pretty well. We did notice, we did have one issue along the way. There was these awful flies. They called them sergeant flies because they had like 3 red stripes on their back. And from what the science teacher explained was that they only came out once in 17 years, and this happened to be the year that these particular flies, came out of nowhere, and they were thirsty, not for water. They were thirsty for your blood or your salt, the salt that from your sweat. So they would literally attack you. And it was not a normal experience for the Boundary Waters because, like I said, it only happens once in 17 years. But it was not very pleasant. The only way you could get away from them, honestly, was either get in your tent, zip it up good, and kill all the flies that came in with you, or you had to sit in the smoke of the campfire. Because they didn't like smoke. So we were up there, and on about the third evening, it was getting close to almost night, and we started to smell something. Linda came up to me and said, "Do you smell what I'm smelling?" And I'm sitting in the smoke of the forest campfire, so I'm like, "No, I can't smell with all this smoke around me." And she says, "Well, step out of there and come over here." And we went towards the lake. And she said, "Now, take a long whiff." And I said, that smells like a fire, but it doesn't smell like a campfire. And she says, "You see those trees over there? The darker it gets, the brighter the glow gets above those trees." And we started looking at each other and we thought, please don't tell me that we're looking at a forest fire. Well, about an hour later, a forest ranger came up. He was also in a canoe. There weren't any boats up there. And he came up to us and he told us, "Look, that fire is about 5 miles away. You guys need to pack up and leave and go straight east as you possibly can, but don't stop. I don't care how late it gets at night. You go until you get to, and then he gave us a location where we would be then taken out of the Boundary Waters, where they had some rescue vehicles, some buses and whatnot waiting for us. But they couldn't get any further into the Boundary Waters. So we had a journey of about, 15 miles, maybe 20 miles of paddling that we had to do, and we had to go fast. So we had to wake up the kids and get them, get them all packed up, help them, and load up the canoes in a real big hurry and start hightailing it eastward to get out of there. And it was coming fast. I mean, that forest fire was moving probably faster than we were paddling. But we started with maybe a 3-4 mile head start, and we had to book it, which we really did. And we just made those kids, some of them were like crying and scared, and it was really, really kind of a awful moment for them. Until, we got finally to the location where they had ambulances waiting and fire trucks and all kinds of rescue vehicles and buses. It wasn't just us. They were rounding up all the different groups that happened to be in the Boundary Waters at the same time. So there was plenty of other people out there looking for groups like us. But that will always, I will always be a memory that was kind of bittersweet, I think, because it started out really fun and it was exciting for the kids. Some of them had never been in a camping trip in their lives. They had never had, for example, to go to the bathroom outside. It was quite a unbelievable experience for them. But then when it turned ugly and dangerous, it was scary. It was scary for them, and it was quite honestly scary for us as well, because we didn't want to get caught in that fire, and thank God we didn't. So that's my story, my final story about the Boundary Waters. And I believe that's the last time I went to the Boundary Waters. I don't know why. And now I want to go to my AI virtual assistant, Billy, and find out if we had any mail in the last few weeks since we started our first episode. So, Billy, do we have any mail to share with the audience?
Hello, Tom. As we promised, here are a few of the messages we received, and we wish to share with you. The first one is from Karen Thate, who writes, quote, "I love the way you love life and look forward to hearing more of your tales. The background of you on the water was very peaceful. I would love to read the book you spoke about. When will I know when your next episode comes out? I am honored to call you my friend. Keep me posted. Karen Thate."
Wow, it's great to hear from Karen Thate. Thanks, Karen. We worked at 2 different schools together, so I don't know how many years that added up to, but we definitely became good friends over those years. So thanks for writing in, Karen.
The next message came to us from Marina, who wrote, quote, "Loved the Caves podcast, episode 1, and the Maggie story, and the cave was a crazy story. Really a fun podcast, and you were showing off Tampa."
I really appreciate that, Marina. I appreciate the fact that you took the time to write to us and let us know that you enjoyed those stories. And I hope that you'll continue to listen to the future podcasts. And I know that you're working on a podcast of your own, although in a very different genre than this one. And so I'm wishing you all the best of luck with that. Thank you.
We have one more message to share, Tom. Dennis from St. Paul wrote, quote, "Hey, Tom, I heard your third podcast called The Bear. As you recalled, we were both on that canoe trip in the Boundary Waters, and I was the guy banging the pans while you slammed into the back of the bear. As I recall, you bounced so hard off that bear that you flew backwards about 5 yards. I doubt that bear even noticed you, but it did somehow fall down that cliff. I just wanted you to know we became great friends after that trip, a friendship I will always cherish. Denny.
Oh man, Dennis, it's so great to hear from you. I'm glad you wrote in. And we sure have had a wonderful long friendship over the years since those days that we were on those canoe trips in the Boundary Waters together. So I really appreciate the fact that you took the time to share that with us. Well, that's it for now. We appreciate everybody writing in and encourage you to continue to do so. Once again, let me give you the phone number where you can leave us a message. That would be 813-776-6774, or you can write an email to tfeely, that's TFEELY, at me.com. So we hope to hear from you again, and if you enjoyed the podcast, we'll be back again next week with more stories to tell you. I believe, hopefully, I'll be heading up to Seattle to celebrate a 55-year retirement party after 55 years for my brother Richard, Dr. Richard Feely. I'm looking forward to going up to Seattle. Talk to you later. Bye.
Oh, wait, Tom. There's just one more very important message to share with our audience. Tom, tell them about your new book series called The Crowning. It is a trilogy, and the third and final book in this series is ready for publication this year.
Hi, this is Tom Feely. I want to tell you about my new book called The Crowning, Culmination of the Nation. It takes place in the year 2025. Obviously, it's a fiction, and it's in the genres of historical fiction and suspense thriller. And trust me, it really truly is a thriller. It's a story of a family trying to survive a year and a half from now in the future. And it's exciting, it's dramatic, and I highly recommend it. I have 3 ways to read it. One is to buy the paperback version I'm holding here. The other is to buy a ebook. And the third one is I've created an audiobook. All 3 are fabulous ways to enjoy this novel. So please consider purchasing. The links will be below. And I look forward to hearing back from you if you enjoyed the book. Thank you. Happy reading.